Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Jeff at Lockdown Security, www.lockdownsecurity.ca. And today I'm bringing you a video on a question that one of our customers emailed us about regarding the Fortin EVO-ONE, and to a lesser extent, the Fortin EVO-All and the security features that these systems provide. So a lot of people don't realize, but the Fortin EVO-ONE and the Fortin EVO-All, depending on the applications, can be programmed as full alarm starters. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the email that the customer sent so you kind of get an idea of what the question is. So the email says, "Good morning. I was looking into an EVO-All versus EVO-ONE system and have one remaining question to answer before purchasing regarding alarm functionality, which is quite important to me. I cannot find any documentation regarding its implementation on the EVO-ONE. Even the link to the document describing the EVO-ONE alarm features on their website ultimately ends up at a document describing the EVO-All with no mention of the EVO-ONE. And this seems to be the case everywhere I've searched for details. Does the EVO-ONE still have 8 zones that can help to identify which of several sensors triggered the alarm? Dual shock, digital tilt, or glass, or do they all have to share one sensor input, making it difficult to determine the cause of an alarm? I read on Fortin's website that the EVO-All used to have 8 inputs, but it was later reduced down to 7. I presume to add a different input or output on the 8th input's original wire. So before I purchase, is there an available document that describes the EVO-ONE alarm functionality that actual references the EVO-ONE specifically, please? Thank you for your time." So, pretty complex question, but essentially the customer is asking, how does the EVO-ONE monitor its inputs when configured as an alarm, and how does it alert the user if any of those inputs are triggered? So I'm starting out this video with an EVO-ONE connected to the FlashLink updater and the FlashLink software loaded up on my desktop, as you can see right here. I've got the EVO-ONE plugged in. It's currently programmed for a Mazda CX-5 2020, but this would apply to any vehicle that you are programming the system for. I've toggled to the remote starter settings right here, and I'm just going to scroll down to answer part 1 of this question, which is, can you configure the EVO-ONE as an alarm and starter? Yes, you can. The way that you do that is option number 14, alarm on, off, starter on, off, which is activate or deactivate the remote starter and alarm. I see they have a spelling mistake there. 410, if you watch this video, you should probably fix that. You can turn the feature on and off by selecting over here. So when I programmed this vehicle onto this module, I indicated that I wanted it to be configured as an alarm start. So it loads a little check mark here to say this is the option that you should select, which is essentially alarm enabled, remote starter enabled. That means that if I were to save this option and see it highlighted in green, this particular EVO-ONE would be a full alarm start. You can see the other options, which are alarm disabled, remote starter enabled. This would be the default option. And then the third option is alarm enabled, remote starter disabled. You would use that if you only wanted the EVO-ONE to be just an alarm, no remote starter. So if I keep scrolling down, there's a couple of other settings that you can take a look at. Specifically setting 29, which is alarm duration. This is configure the duration of the alarm when triggered. You can do 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 120 seconds. What that is how long will the alarm sound for before the siren or the horn shuts off. And it's 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or 120 seconds. After the time has elapsed and it shuts down, it rechecks its inputs. If there's still an intrusion attempt, it'll go off again for the duration that you set here. If I keep scrolling down, I've got security remote car starter special application. This is option 37. The default is disable, but what you can do is you can turn security on, which means if this feature is on, it will shut down the engine if a door is opened before unlock is pressed. So for example, if you had the car or this feature enabled, the car is remote started or the truck is remote started, and you had the doors unlocked, if somebody walked up to the vehicle and they unlocked or they opened the door while it was running under remote start, the car would shut down. It would not shut down if you had pressed unlock on whichever key fob control you're using to control the vehicle. So that pretty much sums up the settings on the FlashLink software. Let's go through the other question, which is the inputs. Okay, so this is my website, Lockdown Security. This is our new Fortin EVO-ONE support Bible that we are creating. It's not finished yet, but it's up online. This video will be embedded on this page. If we go down here, we've got the Fortin EVO-ONE wiring diagram embedded. So you can see a few of the inputs are going to be hood, door. You're going to have a trunk input, a door trigger input, and those inputs can either be analog, which is you hardwire them, or they can be generated by the firmware of whatever you're programming the EVO-ONE to. You've also got a horn siren output with a max output current capacity of 2 amps. So you can basically either have a horn or a siren. The EVO-ONE doesn't come with either of those, so you'd have to purchase them separately, but it is an option there for you to hook up. You have got your 3-pin input for the FSS shock sensor. And then if you scroll down here, you've got essentially a few connections, such as the 5-pin CAN bus connection, which may be reserved for future use. I don't think Fortin has any accessories right now that plug into this, but I believe there may be some things coming down the pipeline that will plug into it. So with that said, if I click on the error diagnostics, let's go here. So part of the customer's email was mentioning 8 inputs, and you can see here, this is the alarm diagnostics table. So this tells you essentially if you get parking light flashes that match these numbers, it tells you what the diagnostic code means. So 3 flashes is door open, zone 3, 4 flashes is shock sensor, zone 4, 5 is hood open, zone 5, 6 is trunk open, zone 6, 7 is auxiliary in, zone 7, and 8 flashes is tilt sensor, zone 8. These are the or answers to these two are something I still need to work on, which is Fortin doesn't sell a tilt sensor, so I'm not sure even where that would plug in. Maybe it goes to that CAN bus connector that I was saying. Same thing with auxiliary in. I've got to get clarity on what these two are. I know what all of this is. So obviously this is your door trigger. This is your FSS shock sensor. This is your hood open. This is your trunk open. Now, for those of you wondering what is an FSS shock sensor, let me just go up to the search page on our site. I'm going to type in FSS, and here we go. This is the FSS shock sensor accessory that Fortin makes. So essentially this is plug and play into an EVO-ONE on the shock sensor input. Now that's not to say that you have to use this FSS shock sensor. You can use any shock sensor, but this comes with the harness that plugs directly into the connector port of the EVO-ONE. But I mean, you'd be open to use pretty much any analog shock sensor that's out there, provided you knew the pinout of the input. We will post the pinout. We don't have it yet, but we will post it. Let me go back to our support page here. We'll post the pinout for the connector under the alarm feature section. It's not finished yet, but it will be there. And I'll post this video down there too, so that obviously you have a link to this page for anybody that's interested in it. Let's go to the install guide quickly. This is obviously a generic install guide. I don't think there's anything in here that relates to the alarm functionality, but the user guide. I'm just going to take a look here. Yeah, so the user guide on page 9 goes through the alarm features. Okay, so this would be a specific document. It's on our website, as the customer was asking for, that discusses the alarm features of the EVO-ONE. If I scroll back up here, you're going to see that this is the user guide for the EVO-ONE. Okay, I'm going to go back down to page 9, and we're going to embed these on the alarm feature section of our site, so you don't have to click into this document. And you can see by default, the alarm will not send an audible confirmation after the first signal has been received from the remote. You can change that. That's a programmable feature. Now, with regards to notifications of alarm triggers, currently, Fortin does not have an LCD key fob. They only sell 2-way LED key fobs. Their only real 2-way LCD would would be considered the Evo Start 2, or if you had a compatible smartphone controller like the MyCar plugged into it. The Evo Start 2 and the MyCar should be able to give you some sort of security alerts. The Evo Start 2 more so because it's a digital data connection. The MyCar smartphone hardware has a siren input which would give you a security alert, but it does not differentiate what zone is going off. So to answer the customer's question, notification wise, the system has the capability to notify you through a two-way LED key fob that the alarm is triggered, or through the Fortin EVO Start 2 that the alarm is triggered, but it does not have the capability of telling you which zone has been triggered. And that's because all of the inputs are essentially they're individual, but on the output side to the two-way LED, there's no way to differentiate on the two-way LED. There's no display, there's no nothing. So the user would not know what zone was triggered. They would only know that, hey, my alarm is going off. So this document does explain quite a bit more. I'm not going to go through all of it. Obviously, it'll be on our site, so you can read it if you are interested. Hopefully, this answers some of the questions. Bottom line, EVO-ONE can be used as an alarm and start. But I have to end the video to say, if you are truly looking for an alarm and start, you'd probably be better served to go with an option from CompuStar. That's not to knock the Fortin brand. That's just to be, upfront and honest that the CompuStar line of products have a better alarm functionality and much more programmable features than the EVO-ONE does. You certainly can use an EVO-ONE as an alarm start, but it in my opinion is not the best option. The EVO-ONE is definitely one of the best options for remote start capability, but when it comes to security, I would probably tell my customers to go CompuStar. And this customer that has sent us this email, I'm going to say the same thing to them as well, that I think they should be looking at a CompuStar system based on the needs that they have expressed to me, and that's because CompuStar has LCD key fobs which can give you independent zone confirmation. They can do that also through Drone Mobile, which is their compatible smartphone hardware. So hope you found this video interesting. Again, this is our new support documentation. This is going to be rolled out for a number of different systems. We do still have our support forum, though. That is our older system. It's lockdownsecurity.forumb.com. Feel free to go there. We're not phasing this out at this time. We're going to be making a slow transition for anybody who's looking for support of any products that we sell. We've got tons of information on this site, but we are transitioning from this site over directly to our main lockdown security site. Thanks for watching the video. I know it was a bit of a long one, but sales@lockdownsecurity.ca if you need to email us, 1-866-824-4118 if you need to call us, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.